City Hall project, since 2018, we discussed the City Hall project 25 times.
25 times. Okay.
Well, including tonight, that makes 27.
Okay. All right. This is not an action item. We'll move on. Item 21. Deliberate and act on the resolution authorizing certain actions, including proceedings in eminent domain to acquire fee simple title and temporary construction easement to certain property in connection with the Key Allegro Bridge project, authorizing the city manager to execute all necessary documents to institute eminent domain proceedings, and directing the city attorney to initiate condemnation proceedings.
We have this as an executive session item as well, so you may want to do that first and then revisit.
So what we're going to do is we're going to move item 21 to further down in the agenda. We'll move on to item 22. Hear and deliberate on status of COVID-19 and response efforts. The case counts dropped significantly in the last week. We've had a couple of 0 days. Today was 0 new cases. We've had a great movement upward in recoveries. We hope that that trend holds. We've got another holiday coming up, Labor Day, which could bring a lot more people to the community. But other than that, we seem to have gotten into a better time with COVID. I don't know if anyone else has any comments on the COVID effort.
I think just the fact that the numbers are going down, which is great. It's actually unbelievable. But we still got to remember once it's not gone. So we can't get complacent and just think that it's gone. So especially whenever Labor Day comes around, because last time whenever I really think once the governor opened everything up, that's when we all saw this big old spike.
Anyone else?
I agree with JD. It's just be getting a little better, but yeah, we can't take it for granted. Looks like we still have a way to go. Winter's still coming on, and fall and winter, and we'll see how that goes.
Anyone else? Okay, moving on to number 23, reports from council. Ward 1, anything to report?
No reports. Thank you.
Ward 2.
Nothing to report. I'll let you talk about the other things that the hurricane and everything else that's going on that we did over the weekend. So.
Ward 3.
I noted that at the Commissioners Court meeting yesterday morning, they authorized Judge Mills to sign the contract with TCEQ to go forward with the Bay Shore revetment project, which is good news for Key Allegro. I gather Kevin will know more about this, or Mike Donahoe than I, that there are some additional issues that Hannah revealed or caused that will also need to be kind of dealt with along Bay Shore, but it's heartening to see some progress. I also wanted to, give a attaboy to Chief Stevens. I had a group of constituents who are concerned about an abandoned house behind them. They asked to meet with me. I suggested that the chief had affirmatively asked for code enforcement to report to him so that they could broaden and strengthen that initiative. And he met with them personally within a couple days, came back again with the code enforcement officer, Angie West, and with Commander Sinclair, and is working the problem. So good on the chief and the police force, and hopefully having code enforcement go through the police department will pay dividends.
Ward 4, any comments?
Yes, we have school starts this week, including my two kids. It's going well so far online. Obviously, it's only for 3 weeks, and then looks like a lot of kids will be going back. It seems to be about a 50-50 ratio of who's going back and who's going to stay home for the 9 weeks. My kids will be staying home. So that was something that started last week. And then on top of that, I got some comments about the comprehension plan. So if anyone else in my ward has any issues on the mixed use, please email me because I would love to hear your input on it. Thank you.
Well, effort to keep this brief. We've got more work to do, but this weekend, actually the last week, and this all through this past weekend, Mayor Pro Tem V and I separately we're joining the National Weather Service hurricane calls regarding Marco and Laura. We did that all weekend, and happy to say that as long as Laura doesn't wobble more westerly, that it looks like we're out of the area. But those calls were occurring at 10:30 and 4:30 daily. After that, we had an abbreviated formation of the EOC, the Emergency Operations Center, where we had members of various stakeholders in the community that were on that call, and we were evaluating the information that we got from the National Weather Service. It was handled very well. Our EMC Chief McCluster did a good job, but I believe Mr. Caruth was on that. Chief, you were on those calls, Mr. Donahoe. So weekend was a little bit chewed up, but we got through it. That's about it. Unless anyone has anything else. City Council will hold an executive session pursuant to the provisions of Chapter 551 of the Texas Government Code in accordance with the authority contained in Item 24, Section 551.072, consultations with attorney on a matter in which the duty of the attorney to the governmental body under the Texas Disciplinary Rules of Professional Conduct of the State Bar of Texas clearly conflicts with this chapter. Legal matters related to available options for funding Hurricane Harvey damaged property and infrastructure. Item 25, Section 551.072, declaration regarding real property to deliberate the purchase, exchange, lease, or value of real property, right-of-way and easement acquisitions necessary for the Key Allegro Bridge project. The time is 8:36, and we are in executive session.
Okay, folks. That is executive session. I'm going to talk. Can anybody hear me on the live feed? Let me know, because I'm going to have to go and cook dinner for my kids. Before I go, I would like to say that very little of what Pat Rio said today was tonight was true. Never did anybody come out and they were not shown a sign, a piece of paper about what was on the CO. The Pat Rios was personally asked if he would like to come out and speak to the people signing the petition. Never offered to come out. I'm really kind of skeptical at the idea that he called up people on the list. I don't know if that's legal or not. What Pat Rios said was just, I mean, it was just full of lies in his own kind of way of justifying not taking the time. to put this to a vote, one. Then when given the chance, move it to a bond issue. All right, folks. I am going to sign off now. I'll sign back on when they come out of executive session. All right. Later, skaters.